All right, day 4's lesson on the fun side. We're going to be talking about networking for funding. Now, this is a different model. I'm not just talking about going to your local real estate investor club and hanging out. What I mean by networking, I mean networking on steroids and doing just a couple things to help yourself stand out from the crowd, right? Because we've all been there. We all go to networking events. We sit through an hour presentation. It might be good, it might be bad. The same people mulling around. Some people that don't do anything. Some people that do something. Vendors, whatever. When I go and speak at real estate investment clubs, I always try to show up for the networking beforehand so I can see who's doing stuff. The bigger groups, you'll see people doing stuff, the cliques and the groups that are friends. That's good, okay? But many people fail at networking, especially if they're still working a full-time job. They take networking as a way of just showing up to itch their itch. Now, it's changed, obviously, in 2020. Now, it's 2021, but it's changed over the last 14 months, especially the last 12 months, okay? Less in-person networking. You're obviously seeing more Zoom calls, more virtual events, more virtual happy hours. It's not the same thing going and elbowing somebody saying, hey, how's it going? What do you do? You have to get a little bit creative in what we're doing. Anytime you can do that, it helps, all right? Anytime you can help prime the pump and get people networking virtually, it will help out. And here's the thing, you guys, it doesn't take much to you guys are already starting to do a little bit of that right now, okay? One of the most important things you can do is get you a Calendly booking link. This is free for 14 days. Calendly.com. It's pretty cheap. Actually, it's really cheap. But if you're going to be talking to people, whether it's investors or bankers, get you a booking link so they can book directly into your schedule. I have used Calendly for a couple of years now. I actually have a Calendly for when I'm talking to investors, a Calendly when I'm talking to asset managers. I have one for my podcast. Heck, you guys all know you can go straight to talkwithscottcarson.com. That's one of the great things. Calendly will give you a URL, but I would highly recommend, like Doug Homer, who's on here, go out and buy Talk with Doug Homer or Talk with Doug. All right, Talk with Dougie. Show me how to Dougie. All right, maybe not that, but you get what I'm saying. Show me how to Dougie.com. All right, because that's an easy thing for people to remember. That's why I have talkwithscottcarson.com. Easy to put, but actually, if you click on talkwithscottcarson.com, it's easy for me to remember, for other people to remember, and it goes directly into my Calendly link. And now, guess what? When so many people register my Calendly, guess what? I have their info, their name, their email, their phone number, and what they're calling about a lot of times. And I can export my Calendly link once a month. And now I have these investors that have connected with me in a variety of places. They're asset managers. It comes in really, really handy, okay? Use this in your email signature. I even put it in my Zoom name, okay? My first name on Zoom is Scott Carson. My last name is talkwithscottcarson.com, okay? Put it in your social media post. Hey, guys, if anybody would love to talk about real estate we're looking for, here's a link to book. Comes in extremely handy, all right? But this is the way that you can virtually grab somebody's contact information, their business card. Hey, let's talk. Especially you're on a Zoom call. Hey, here's somebody want to talk about notes or what I'm working on or wants interested in this deal here. Let's book some time on my schedule. Talk with Scott Carson. Talk with Doug Homer. Talk with LauraChilds.com. All right. Talk with AliceCooper.com. All right. Now, I also, with networking, you have to be a little bit more aggressive. I mean, I know most of the time we're used to going to a meeting once a week, once every 2 weeks, or once a month, depending where you're located. But you can't do that these days in a lot of places. So I use LinkedIn search to help me grow my networking. Now, I've done this over the last few years because there's not a big note investor note group here in Austin, Texas. Austin has one major RIA club, and the guys that run the one big RIA club here, basically they focus on their stuff. It's all self-centered, which is really not what I want. They don't do any notes, so they don't want anybody talking about notes. Okay, fine. So I had to look at other places outside of Austin to connect with people. So I've been using LinkedIn search a ton to connect and grow my network all across the country. And I'll show you guys that in just a second, okay? I use Octopus to automate this to try to connect with 100 investors a day. And I'll show you exactly how I do this in just a second. So before I go on to it, I want to show you my LinkedIn message to investors, because you could all could go to LinkedIn right now and type in note investors or real estate investor and see how many people pop up, okay? And you can send an invite out to and try to connect with people, okay? And here's basically what my message is. Once again, remember, as we talked about previously, you only have 300 characters in a LinkedIn invite, okay? So it's the same thing. Hello, first name, whatever their name is. I'm a fellow investor and looking to connect with others in the area. My focus is buying distressed notes on residential commercial properties in 30 different states. What types of deals are you looking for? I look forward to connecting. Scott Carson. And then I put my Calendly link at the bottom. All right. So if they could click on that, guess what? Kudos. Yay. I captured information. I had 3 phone calls yesterday from investors alone from doing this, and had 3 people talk about investing anywhere from 50 grand each to 150 grand. So it was well worth it to talk with them about this. And this is something that each and every one of you can do on a regular basis. Okay. Leverage your networking. We'll get this in just a second when I showed you here, but other things you can leverage. Okay. Take that booking link. Talk with Doug Homer. Invest with Doug. Ooh, I like that one. Investwithdoug.com. Okay. Put that in if you're going to do put that booking link. If you're going to do your case study videos, talking about case studies, put that as the very first link at the top before your website. Okay. Because you put it, but the first link you put is a clickable link in the description on the YouTube channel. Okay. Put it on your flyers. If you're doing paper case studies, put your link at the bottom. If you're going to send out direct mail to IRA investors like we talked about doing yesterday, finding them, put your link on there for people to connect with you. Okay. If you're doing a case study link to LinkedIn, note or real estate investors, the booking link, like I just talked about. Hey, I got a deal in your backyard. Let's talk. Okay. Let's book. Okay. There's a lot of great things you can do with that. You also, and this is something that I just started doing here in the last couple months. You guys have heard about Clubhouse. If you've got an iPhone, it's a online voice only kind of party line is the best way to say it. So like last night, I was on a Clubhouse with about 200 other real estate investors talking about a variety of different topics. My turn came to speak. I talked about note investing for 5 minutes. I had 30 people that opted into my schedule because they went to my profile on and how Clubhouse works. It'll either show you can either have to show your Twitter or Instagram, but then also you have a bio there. Okay, well, I had 40 people connect with me on Instagram, all in that basically that 45 minutes I was on there where I only spoke for 5 minutes. But I put my booking link, my talk with Scott Carson in my profile, and they had several booked appointments from it. And I was really blown away. So if you have if you've got a Android phone, sorry, it's not out for Android right yet, but if you got an iPhone, you might want to spend a little bit of time on there if you're bored, because it really has become a great place to network with people on a regular basis. And I've really liked that. I don't spend 5 hours there. I may spend 2-3 hours a week on Clubhouse because I'll check out the different real estate groups. I may remind myself, I may host a group once a week on something, but that's the beautiful thing. It's basically virtual networking, sharing. It's a great Q&A thing. You'll see a variety of things. You'll see other investors, other people they connect with. You can connect with them on their Twitter or their Instagram handles. I like going to Instagram and seeing what they're doing. You can go to their Twitter and see what they're sharing. A lot of them, they've got a good profile. They'll have their LinkedIn profile and other URLs that you can click. You can't really click on them, but you can still copy paste them, okay? Now, if you're going to create a Clubhouse app, create a profile with your website and with links and other things as well for you. Okay. Terry asked a question. Do you have a separate URL for each topic? Are you talking about on the Calendly link? Yeah. So like talk with Scott Carson, that's for my investors. All right. Assetmanager.com. No, it's not assetmanager.com. Oh, what is it? I have a general one that we're going to go my calendar. I'll show you guys in just a second here. Yes. So like I have one for my podcast, book on the Don't Close Show. I have another one that I use for events. If I'm going to like put on like Note Camp, I create a Calendly link over the 3 days, a calendar just for those 3 days, and my speakers book on those 3 days. So it's really kind of effective. I'll show it here in just a second, Terry. Okay. Thanks for bringing it up. Okay. All right. But with Clubhouse, create a profile, get on there, start sharing. It's become a really great place to networking, and you'll be surprised. There's people on there with money looking to invest in either syndications or other things like that, and everybody's fascinated with notes right now. Okay, so get on there, check it out. It's well worth it. Now, old-fashioned networking, if you are going to your local real estate club or networking or lunch hour or whatever it might be, here's the thing. If you're in person, go and you're brand new, go up and ask the host who you should talk to. If you're going to an IRA event and you've made friends with the IRA people, ask them, hey, who should I talk to here? Who's at the group? And they'll tell you, oh, yeah, talk to this guy, talk to this gal. It's a great way to do it, okay? Here's the thing. Don't be a time vampire. When it comes to networking, it's good to talk with somebody and tell them, and I would rather have a good conversation with one person who knows what the hell they're doing versus 20 people who don't know what they're doing. Okay. So be respectful. If somebody won't ask you questions, won't respond back and forth with doesn't show an interest, then move on to somebody else. Okay. Exchange business card. You need to have a business card. Okay. Now, what I do is I always have a business card scanned into my phone. So if I do walk into and I forget to grab my stack of cards, I can text them. I'm like, oh, give me your cell phone number. I'll text you my contact information, or I'll text you my business card. Now, with business cards, ladies and gentlemen, you do this, put your freaking face on it. People, when you walk out of a networking meeting, you have a stack of business cards. Who is this guy? Who's this gal? Okay, I know it may seem like a realtor, but put your freaking face on it. It goes so much longer for people to remember you. And do one company only. When I see somebody who's got 4 or 5 different businesses on their business card, it screams to me that they're a jack of all trades and a master of none. I don't care if you have if you have 2 businesses or 3 businesses of a different card. I'll say, oh, this is my work card. It's my real. That's fine, totally fine. But when somebody hands me their flimsy, like single sheet of piece of paper that they printed out in their home printers, got like 5 things that they do, I'm like, no, it goes in the trash. Okay, spend some money. Your business card is not only a first impression a lot of times if you're passing it out, it's also a second impression when they get home and they're emptying out their wallets to see who they need to talk to. Okay. Now, if you talk to somebody they don't have a business card, but they're interesting, hey, just pull out one of yours, and I like to leave the back of mine blank, and I'll take some notes, or I'll take some notes as I'm sitting there. Hey, I need to talk to this guy about this, or I need to talk to this guy about this. Okay. Now, I like to send an email before I go to bed the next night, or that same night, send an email. Hey, it was great meeting you. A lot of times I may even do it straight from my cell phone. Great talking with you, or connect with them on LinkedIn, on Facebook. I'll do this, especially if I'm going to an event. I'll look for the speaker. I'll take a picture of the speaker speaking, and I'll text them that, or find their website, or find their social media, and share that photo with them when I'm speaking, and they love it. That's an instant. You're adding value immediately to them. All right. Because people are speaking, love to get photos of them speaking so they can use it for marketing. Well, if you take a good photo of them, I made some great relations with some great people that I've been at other events just from texting them a picture of them speaking, or messaging them, or sending an email and say, hey, it was nice to meet you. I look at my notes, I add in my database. Okay. You can use like a card scan, or Evernote there's all sorts of different card scanning apps on your smartphones that you can scan that card and it'll upload to a spreadsheet for you. Okay. Here's the thing you got to realize. Taking a stack of cards home is great if you do something with them. If you just let them sit there on your desk or in your shoebox or your key tray, all it does is waste, because most emails, huge amount of emails go bad after 6 months. And so, like many of us, we all have a shoebox full of business cards. Doesn't do you any good to hold on to me. Might as well just throw them away. Okay. A shoebox full of business cards aren't going to do you any good if you don't ever reach out to them. So make it a habit when you meet somebody, you get a business card, you add them to your database, add them to your scan their business card, send a message. It adds it's such an easy thing to do, and so few people do it these days. Okay. All right. Now, if you're in an area where you don't like your networking groups, you don't like what's going on, guess what? Start one on your own. It's really easy to start something these days and adding value to things. I mean, heck, look at Note Night in America. That originally started, Note Night in America started back in 2010, 2011, as just investors coming together to talk. It was a conference call that we did for a couple of years, just talking. Actually, it was back in 2006 we started doing those conference calls. Okay. And it grew to beyond that. Okay. You could create your own meetup group, whether it's in person or now. Meetup is allowing you to do virtual meetups, which is really nice. They finally got on the path of that. Okay. You can do it via like a webinar, like Zoom, like this, or a meeting on Zoom calls, or whatever. Go to webinars, write things. You could do a Facebook group where people are interacting. You can do all of those to get people to network. Okay. If you do it monthly, guess what? You got to come up with 12 topics or 12 meetings. That's pretty easy. The problem with 12 months is it takes about 6 months or 6 events to really start building some traction with things. Now, I've been in groups where I've had one person in the audience, and I would glad to talk to that one person, because that one person is better than zero. And I'll pour my information to that person, or really take time to see if we can add value to each other's businesses with that one person. Once a month, okay, you're going to have to market it. If you do it bi-monthly, like once every 2 weeks, that's not bad. 24 a month or 26 a month, great. Pretty easy to do. All right. If you do it weekly, you got to commit to it. All right. If you start off weekly and then fade it down to monthly, that's not a good thing. I would always start off doing a monthly call and then bring it up to doing it bi-monthly or weekly. Monthly or weekly are the best. Bi-monthly, people forget about, is this week or next week? And you got to do a lot more job in marketing. But if you have a meetup group, you could bring on speakers. Heck, you guys could all book 24 speakers right now, every single one of you, to conference calls on a meetup group online in your city, in your area, whatever you want to do. Okay. There are plenty of groups out there existing that don't have people in them anymore too. All right. What I love about Meetup too is Meetup will organically suggest people to join your group based on their interests that they say. At one point before Meetup changed, we had roughly about 50 plus virtual Meetup groups where weekly we would get together. And what we did is we did a conference call, Note Night in America, and then basically the groups would basically interact or comment individually. In a lot of those cases, the green ones were already where we had people moderating them. Red ones where we were looking for people to help out with that. And then Meetup changed their things and said, oh no, it's got to be in person only, no virtual stuff. So they shut all our groups down overnight. So right now you can still do the same thing. It is such a valuable thing. Meetup will help you find people. They'll connect with you. You can pretty easily, if you're just doing a little bit of marketing on social media, or you can really have 50 to 100 people be part of your group as long as you're consistent and stick with it. You're going to start a meetup, start a networking group. Just stick to it. Just stick to it and just stick to it. You can do it free where it doesn't cost you anything. Virtually, if you're going to start meeting in person, try to find a coffee shop, Panera or something like that that's COVID safe. Okay. What you have to realize in all this when it comes to networking is it's all about building relationships and that touch point. 48% of sales are made, 40% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. That's like getting a business card and then just throw it in the trash. 1 in 4 never make a second contact, or make a second contact and stop. 1 in 8, 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. Think about this. That's why we talk so much about touching base, because when you get beyond that third and you start touching base 4 or 5 ways with people, guess what? You start going into rare air. You have to realize only 2% of sales are made on the first contact, 3% are made on the second, 5 on the third, 10% in the fourth, but the remaining 80% are made on the 5th to 12th contact. Just follow up, just share, add people to your database. That's part of what we've talked about so much for the last couple of days. Is just not the networking, not just for investors, just not for real estate people, just not for asset managers. It all merges together, and you're doing a lot of the same things to find deals and a lot of the same things to fund deals, right? So questions, before we ask your questions here, let me do this. I'm going to escape out of this. And I wanted to bring this up for you guys. All right, let me do the new share here. All right, so there's Facebook. All right, so LinkedIn here. So like if you're at LinkedIn here, well, yep, share it. Come on. All right. So I'm on my LinkedIn profile here right now. Okay. If you click on, anybody can do this. You click on home. All right. And let's just do this. You go up here to the search. Let's just type Note Investors. All right, Note Investor. And it pulls up, drum roll. If we click on people here, people that say Note Investor in their profile, it's 254,000 people. Now we know it's not exactly that, but that's a pretty good chunk. And you see, I've got some pending invitations out with people. Penny, because I've used it. I'm like, oh, connect, Steve Drake. Okay. Some of these people I've already reached out to. So I have Octopus already. Now the thing I would do, Octopus is up here on the left-hand side. I already got it running. So I'm going to click on Octopus over here. All right. It takes me to my dashboard. Okay. Now let's say, actually, let me do this. Let me close this down and I'll bring it up directly from it. All right. So once you've got, I'm back to LinkedIn here. Now let's say I want to activate Octopus. I'm going to go over to my right-hand side for my plugins. I'm going to go down and hit Octopus all in one. It should pop up a thing and you should say connect. So I'm going to add I'm looking for note investors. So I'm going to go, I have a whole variety of things to search for called note investors. I'm going to look for, let's just say 300. I'm going to try to find 300 note investors that I've not connected with in my search like it is. And that's the thing. It's going to go search for it here. All right. And when it does, Octopus will look at my search here on LinkedIn. It'll look at the profiles. The first 300 they'll pull, and then they'll move those 300 profiles into the Octopus CRM. Okay. Give it a second here. It's 58% done. 68, 76, 80, 87, 96, and 100%. All right. Now I send it to the CRM. So I'm going to click on my CRM button here. It should take me over here. All right. So 3 out of 300 profiles, because I've used this quite, 242 profiles have been skipped since 20 already in my campaign. 100 profiles have already been processed by you. 112 are reviewing your invitation. 10 profiles are invalid. So that's a beautiful thing. So I have, if I'm looking for investors in Austin, I have, hopefully you can see, make sure you can see my screen here one more time. Yep. I have 554 to connect with here in Austin. You can see up here in my investor thing, LS first name, it automatically pulls Karen. I'm an investor looking to connect with other investors in the area. My focus is buying distressed debt. Talk with Scott Carson. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up there and hit 100 people. So I do first thing in the morning. First thing when I sit down, I can send out about 100 invites in a 24-hour period. So I'll hit launch, and it'll basically just automate it going forward. And it's sent to Karen Orozco. It's sitting on the next one now. And I can go do something else. I can click back over on LinkedIn while that's running on autopilot and do something else. Okay. All right. So that's the thing, is using this can help automate it while I'm working on other things, or I go get coffee, go to the bathroom, whatever. And I got Octopus automate in the back. Now, if I've done too many, it'll tell me too many requests. Okay. But it spaces it out, which is really nice. So it's done Karen, it's done Alex Greystoke just in that time frame. Okay. Really a valuable thing. Now I can send a message to these people after they connect and say, hey, love to connect with you some more. Hey, I got a deal in your area that I'm looking for. Okay. Now that's Octopus. I use it. I'm going to stop this here so you guys can see. I have a variety of them. I have podcast hosts I'm looking at. I have a default campaign, fitness podcast host for a friend. What is that one? I can't see because the button. Human resources for things, note investors, podcast hosts, real estate podcasters, real estate investors Austin, real estate investors Dayton, real estate investors Jacksonville, Philly, St. Louis, DC, and a whole thing. Real estate investor neutral, real estate investor Houston, Georgia, all sorts of things on here in these profiles. And I have a different set of people that I'm reaching out to. I have a different automated set. So if I go to, that's real estate investor there. Let's do special asset managers. Where's that at? Boom, 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 boom. Right. Special asset manager. I wanted to see if you were the correct person at blank who handles your firm's distressed loans. I love to connect, see what you might be looking to get rid of in the fourth quarter. Okay. So that's the beautiful thing when it comes to that. It shouldn't be 1 year. We've done it more than that. But anyway, you see, we've got a whole variety of things that you can set up. So if you're focusing on a city like Houston, great. Or if you focus on a state, you could do like Georgia, like I do that. So it's a really great thing to use if you're doing specific cities and states, depending on what your marketing is. So that's why we always tell you guys, pick 3 to 5 states, pick the biggest cities in those states, and start marketing to them. Okay. So that's a really cool thing with Octopus. Now let's go to Calendly here. Share my screen with you guys. So Calendly, it gets people to schedule. So event types. I have a variety of schedules. So I have International Podcast Day was an event I did last year. Note Camp 2020. I use that for Note Camp. I've done this for helping Steph with her podcast. Mass media, another webinar, podcast calls, 30-minute meetings, NCS podcast recording. All right, and I have a different email for my asset manager one. But literally, if somebody clicks on this, my 30-minute meeting, which I use that with investors all the time, you guys would use that, it's really nice because I can go to just talkwithscottcarson.com. It's the same thing. It's a 30-minute meeting. And you see, you pick a date. Oh, I want to talk to Scott this Friday. I got a time. Okay, pick out a time. Confirm. I'm going to ask a name, email, best number to reach you at. Do I need to have anybody else on there? How'd you find out about Scott? What would you like your focus to be on? And schedule an event. Now, the beautiful thing, I can export that list, but Calendly now will send them a calendar invite. It'll send them a text message reminder, and it alerts me that I have to do it. So it saves me so much time and so much when it comes to the booking stuff. So questions about Calendly, Octopus, just start using these things to connect with people, ladies and gentlemen. It will make your life so much freaking easier out there, okay? And it's pretty inexpensive because your time is better spent than trying to schedule things individually. As much as you can automate where people can book with you and then connect, and if they have a schedule conflict, they can rebook it through the link. Easy to rebook if you got to push it out to a later date because you're without power or water or in Snowmageddon, whatever it might be. But really excited about that. 2 tools, Octopus and Calendly, I think should be 2 tools that every investor use. Calendly.com. So we've covered a lot so far with today. We covered sharing case studies on Monday, sending out regular emails on Tuesday, finding IRA investors for funding yesterday. Remember, 752 investors in about 5 minutes. Networking with other investors, taking it to a whole different level than what you're used to. Tomorrow, we're talking about some of the ways to leverage conferences to find funding, and this will surprise you. I think it'll be an interesting thing for you guys here tomorrow for day 5 of our challenge. Okay. Yeah, Sylvia, Octopus only works with LinkedIn. It is a LinkedIn only plugin, Chrome plugin. Okay. Yeah, you can only use Octopus exclusively with LinkedIn. Doesn't work with anything else. Okay, because you got to realize most people don't have their email on LinkedIn, but if you have that LinkedIn profile, it can pull over, and that's what Octopus does. It links into that LinkedIn profile and can send it via LinkedIn's basically email server. All right, so it's kind of a really nice feature for that. Okay, use it. Trust me, especially with you working full time. That's something you can do in your part time in the morning or in the evenings to kind of have it automated for you, especially if you've worked a long day. All right. So a couple of things, guys. If you have not signed up for a VIP ticket, we have some really great stuff we're going to cover over the next few days, next couple of weeks here on the funding side of things. We'll be talking more about the county clerk versus the county appraisal district, IRA events, IRA and 401k lists, foreclosure lists, sponsoring events, doing some more LinkedIn searches, Facebook groups, all sorts of great stuff. Trust me, guys, you want to get signed up for that, either that gold ticket for $99 so you get access to this. All right. Those of you guys that have a free ticket, guess what? Your free ticket is good for the first 5 days. After the 5 days, you don't get access to these the remaining 20 topics. So get signed up. You can get signed up by going back to the main website, 5daynotes.com. Very easy for you guys to go to 5daynotes.com. Going straight to the website there, and you don't have to hit RSV or pre-spot. All you have to do is just scroll down here. Scroll down here and grab your gold pass here or your RSVP for your VIP pass here, ladies and gentlemen. And the VIP, you're gonna have scripts, extra forms that we use. We got over $1,000 in bonuses that we'll announce tomorrow for guys. All the replays, lifetime access, all 20 days. The free, guess what? You got the 5 days. Love to have you, but here, guys, seriously, if you're interested in the 99 gold pass, guess what? You get to stay in a group, you get access to all 20 days, and then you get the replays with this 99, but you don't get all the extra bonuses that were thrown in with the VIP pass. It's well worth it. Trust me, it is well worth it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be covering over the next 15, 16 days. So love for you to be a part of that. Wayne, LinkedIn, Octopus does not work with an email. It works with a LinkedIn profile. It sends it through the LinkedIn emailing service, bud. All right. It just works with LinkedIn. It's not pulling an email. Okay. But anyway, going back, guys, get signed up for a gold pass or VIP pass and get access to everything that we're going to go through. If you guys have loved the first couple of days so far, you're going to love the final 16 days. So otherwise, if there's no other questions, we're going to wrap it up for day 4 of the 5-day note investing challenge. Thank you so much. Have a great evening, and we'll see you all at the top. Bye.